Have you ever stopped to think that you might be living your entire life the wrong way? It sounds harsh, but that's exactly what might be happening. Most people rush around every day, worrying about bills, work, family, the future, and in the midst of this rush they end up forgetting the most obvious, what really matters. Alan Watts, one of the most direct and provocative philosophers of the last century, left an idea so simple, yet so powerful, that it can turn your life upside down when you finally understand it. It's not a complicated theory. It's not distant spiritual talk. It's something practical that changes how you view every second of your existence. What I'm going to show you in this video isn't just a cute reflection you can forget in 10 minutes. It's a disturbing truth, because it makes you realize how trapped you've been by things that will never bring you the satisfaction you seek. It's a reality check that few have the courage to face, but those who do never live the same way again. Alan Watts had the ability to say in one sentence what most people can't understand in a lifetime, and it's precisely this idea that's about to be revealed to you now. If you think you already know the meaning of life, if you believe you've already understood what you should strive for to be happy, get ready. This video may dismantle everything, and when you listen to the end, you'll realize there's one thing you need to remember, always, to transform your way of life. This is the promise. After today, you'll never look at your life the same way again. What you just heard has the power to turn your life upside down, because now you see something most people spend their entire lives unaware of. This kind of clarity can't be kept to yourself. When you like and subscribe to the channel, you repay the value you received and help this message reach others who also need this transformation. Every gesture you make strengthens this chain of awakening. So, confirm your subscription now, like, and be part of this movement that will change not only your life, but also the lives of thousands who will yet discover this truth. Understand this. You spend a good part of your life trying to have everything under control. You want to control what will happen tomorrow, what others think of you, how your work will unfold, what your family will decide, even the smallest details of your routine. It seems that if you don't have everything in your hands, something bad will happen. And it's precisely this feeling of needing to hold everything together that exhausts you, leaves you tired and anxious. It's like trying to hold sand in your hands. The tighter you hold it, the more it slips through your fingers. And that's the point. Absolute control is an illusion. No matter how hard you try, there will always be something beyond your reach. How many times have you made plans that fell apart in seconds because of a detail beyond your control? How many times have you believed you could predict a situation only to have everything unfold completely differently? The truth is, you were taught to believe that control is synonymous with security. From an early age, you were told that planning every step, calculating every move, and worrying about every detail was the way to ensure life would work out. But Alan Watts, with his simple and direct vision, showed something no one had the courage to say. The more you try to hold on to life tightly, the more it slips away. This isn't a distant metaphor. It's a fact you experience every day when you realize that, despite all your worry, the unexpected keeps appearing. The promotion that never came, the person who changed their mind, the health problem that suddenly arose, the bills that appeared without warning. Control is just a fantasy we insist on nurturing so as not to admit that life has its own rhythm. And here comes something that really bothers you. When you realize you have no control over almost anything, your mind rebels. It doesn't accept it. It wants to believe that if you think enough, if you plan enough, you'll be able to solve everything. But life doesn't work like a chessboard where you move the pieces as you please. It's more like the sea. You can learn to surf, you can prepare, you can understand the waves, but you'll never have the power to predict when they'll appear or how big they'll be. That's the shock. Accepting that no matter how much you fight, the sea is still the sea. And it's precisely when you understand this that a great transformation begins to happen. Now think about it. How many times have you missed a moment because you were too busy trying to predict the next steps? How many times have you missed a conversation because your mind was elsewhere, imagining potential problems? And the curious thing is that most of these problems never happen. You waste energy, lose sleep, and create worries that, in the end, don't come true. This is the weight of the illusion of control. It traps you in a never-stopping wheel where you chase something that doesn't exist and therefore never achieve true peace. It's like running on a treadmill. No matter how hard you try, you stay in the same place. And here's an important point for you to reflect on. Everything that has most impacted your life, the unexpected encounters, the opportunities that appeared out of nowhere, the twists and turns that changed everything, happened because they were beyond your control. It was precisely the unexpected that brought the most powerful stories. This doesn't mean you shouldn't organize yourself or have plans, but it does mean that believing in the myth that you can control everything is a waste of time and energy. It's like fighting the wind. The wind blows where it will, and the more you fight it, the more tired you become. Alan Watts said that trying to control is what robs you of your freedom to live. And that's what often happens to you without realizing it. The obsession with control leaves you tense, anxious, and disconnected from the present. You keep imagining scenarios in your head, creating monsters that don't exist, while real life continues to unfold before you. And then, before you know it, you've already lost moments that will never return. It's harsh, but it's true. And maybe this is the shock you needed to hear right now. You'll never have all the control you'd like, and that's not a problem. It's the key to starting to truly live. And I want you to join me in this moment now. Leave a comment by writing the word freedom. Why this word? Because it's exactly what you feel when you realize you no longer have to carry the weight of controlling everything. It's like lifting a backpack full of stones off your back. It's lightness, it's letting go of what's holding you back, it's making room for things to flow more naturally. And by writing this word, you begin to affirm to yourself that you're willing to live with less pressure and more truth. Think about it. Control is like a trick the mind invents to feel safe. But deep down, true security never comes from this attempt to dominate everything, but from the ability to deal with what happens. This is the difference between living stuck or living in motion. Those who seek absolute control always end up frustrated, because sooner or later life shows that it doesn't work that way. But those who learn to deal with what comes, to accept and act in the face of the unexpected, discover that there is a much greater power within themselves. It is this strength that will give you the courage to live without fear, to experience the present without being paralyzed by life's what-ifs. And perhaps now you're wondering, if I give up this control, what will happen to me? Will I become passive, abandoned, directionless? Or is there a different way to approach life, one where I don't need to try to predict everything, but also keep moving forward? This is precisely the question that opens the next part of our content, because there's a key point that directly connects this illusion of control to how you're living in the present, and therein lies one of life's greatest revelations. See how everything starts to fall into place. You've just realized that the obsession with controlling every detail of your life only tires you, traps you, and distances you from what truly matters. And this is precisely where the next point comes in, because there's something you're constantly missing: the present. It's curious, but most people spend their entire time with their minds divided between what's already happened and never will, and what hasn't even happened yet and may never happen. And so, the present is wasted as if it were worthless. How many times have you found yourself reliving old situations, dwelling on mistakes, harboring resentment, as if that would change anything? And how many times have you been paralyzed thinking about everything that could go wrong tomorrow, to the point of missing what's happening right in front of you? It's this mental prison that slowly steals your life. What Alan Watts says so bluntly is almost a slap in the face. The only real time you have is now. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived. The present is the only space where you can live, act, feel, change, and experience. But most people don't realize this because they're too busy trying to sort things out elsewhere in their minds. It's like being at an incredible party, but spending the entire night staring at your phone, missing the music, the conversations, and the moments, and then complaining that you didn't have fun. The problem isn't the party, it's your absence from it. That's how it works with life. You're not where life really happens, and you know what's most interesting. When you start to truly connect with the present, everything changes. Problems still exist, but you gain more clarity in how to deal with them. The little things which once seemed unimportant begin to have new meaning. Someone's smile, a quick conversation, even the simple act of having a coffee cease to be automatic and become truly experienced. This is the difference between being alive and just existing. And this isn't just lip service to cheer you up. It's something concrete. Your mind becomes calmer, your body reacts better, your energy shifts. You become lighter because you stop carrying what's already happened and making up stories about what hasn't even happened yet. Now think about it. How many opportunities have you missed by not being present? How many memories have you missed because your mind was elsewhere? This is the point Alan Watts hammers home so powerfully. The present isn't just a detail of life, it's life itself. And when you waste this moment, you're wasting the only real thing you have. It's as if you're burning money every day without realizing it. Only in this case, what you're losing isn't money, it's time. And time is the only currency that doesn't come back. And to reinforce this reflection, I want you to comment here on the word now. Write this word down and keep it as a reminder. Every time you type or say now, you'll remember that life is happening right now and that this is your chance to live better. This simple gesture will help you commit more to the present and prevent your mind from wandering to places that only drain your energy. And of course, this raises an even deeper question. Because if the present is where everything happens, then why do you still feel like it's meaningless, that you're running aimlessly? There's something that connects this living in the now with a completely different perspective on life, a way of seeing that transforms each step into something meaningful. And that's exactly what we'll explore from now on. Have you ever noticed that life feels more like a dance than a race? Think about it. When you dance, you're not worried about getting anywhere. The pleasure is in the movement, in the rhythm, in the moment the music plays, and you simply let yourself go. But when you view life as a race, everything changes. There's an imaginary finish line that you tirelessly pursue. You run to get a degree, then run to get a job, then run to acquire possessions, recognition, stability. And when you finally achieve what you've been searching for, you discover that the satisfaction is short-lived, and a new goal appears to make you run again. It's as if life is always a rehearsal for something that never truly begins. Alan Watts made this very point. He said that people's biggest mistake is living as if life were a preparation for the big moment that's always in the future. But that big moment never arrives because while you're preparing, life is happening and you're not present. It's like watching an eternal rehearsal without ever taking the stage. His proposal was simple yet profound. What if life wasn't about getting somewhere but about living the journey? What if the true purpose wasn't in the end result, but in enjoying each step? This vision, however uncomfortable it may seem at first, is liberating. Now let me challenge you. When was the last time you did something just for the pleasure of it, without thinking about the outcome? When was the last time you sang, danced, walked, or talked without expecting anything in return? Life takes on a new flavor when you allow yourself to live this way. You're no longer chasing an invisible goal, but living each moment as it deserves. It's like savoring a meal without rushing, savoring every detail instead of gulping it down because it needs to be over quickly. The meaning is in the middle, not the end. But there's one catch. This shift in perspective requires courage. Courage to stop constantly putting pressure on yourself. Courage to accept that life doesn't have a pre-written script. Courage to throw yourself into the moment with no guarantee of what will happen next. And that's scary, because we've been raised to believe that everything is only worthwhile if there's a clear reward at the end. But think about it. What if life itself is already the reward? This is the key Alan Watts places in our hands, and it's up to you to decide whether to use it or remain trapped in the endless race. I want you to leave a comment with the word dance. This will serve as a reminder to you and also as a sign that you've grasped this idea. Life is not a test of endurance. It's a dance to be lived step by step. When you write this word, it's as if you're accepting an invitation to enter the right rhythm of your own journey. And of course, this reflection opens the door to something even more important. Because when you understand that life is a dance, a new question arises: how to let yourself go without losing your balance. There is a way to move with the flow of life without feeling lost, and this is the point that will further transform your perspective in the next step of our conversation. Now that you understand that life is a dance and not an endless race, the question that nudges you deep inside comes to mind. How can you truly surrender to this dance without constantly stumbling? This is where one of the most powerful secrets comes in, but one that many people avoid: accepting the flow of life. And no, I'm not talking about crossing your arms and waiting for everything to fall from the sky. I'm talking about learning to stop, fighting the inevitable, and start using the force of events to your advantage. It's like being in a river. You can spend all your energy swimming against the current, becoming exhausted, frustrated, and even drowning, or you can learn to paddle with the water, harnessing its strength to go further. The river will keep flowing whether you like it or not, and the same goes for life. Think about how many times you've lost sleep trying to change things that simply weren't in your control. How many times you've wasted energy arguing, stressing, and blaming yourself for something that had already happened and couldn't be undone. And how many times you've postponed important decisions waiting for everything to be perfect instead of dealing with what was right in front of you. That's where acceptance makes all the difference. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing that there are things that don't depend on you, and that insisting on controlling them will only exhaust you. It means learning to distinguish between what deserves your action and what simply needs to be understood. Alan Watts put it bluntly, life is like music. You don't listen to a song waiting for just the last note. You listen because you appreciate every part of it, even the ones that seem less memorable. And likewise, you can't expect everything to fall into place exactly as you imagine. The unexpected is part of the melody, and that's what gives it rhythm and meaning. When you embrace the flow, you discover you can dance even when the music changes. You don't need to know every note beforehand. You just need to be open to the sound that's playing now. Let me give you a practical example. Have you ever noticed that often something that seemed like a disaster ended up being a push towards something better? The layoff that forced you to seek another path and brought new opportunities. The end of a relationship that opened space for a lighter life. Even that delay that made you miss an appointment, but ended up putting you in touch with someone who changed your life. These moments only make sense when you look back and realize that the flow was taking you somewhere else. But to live through this without so much suffering, you need to accept that you can't control the current. And I want you to leave your word here in the comments flow. Write this down as a personal commitment, as a sign that you're willing to stop fighting life and start moving with it. This simple gesture is already a way of affirming to yourself that you're ready to live more lightly, without carrying the unnecessary weight of trying to control the uncontrollable. Now, of course, all of this raises a new question that may already be lingering in your mind. If I accept the flow, how can I maintain my composure and not let life simply sweep me away aimlessly? There's a way to balance this surrender with the strength to keep moving forward, and that's exactly where we'll dive next. Understand how the journey is coming together. First, you realize that control is an illusion. Then you discovered that the present is the only real time. You understood that life is a dance, and you learned the importance of aligning with the flow instead of fighting it. But now an inevitable question arises: how to maintain this balance without becoming passive, without becoming someone who simply lets life unfold without participating in it. This is where the final key to this reflection comes in. Acceptance is not the destination. It is the beginning of a much wiser approach. When you accept the flow, you discover the power to act at the right time, in the right place, without wasting energy where it is not needed. Alan Watts was incredibly clear about this. Truly living isn't about standing still. It's about acting in sync. It's like rowing a boat. You can't control the tide, but you can adjust the oars to use the current to your advantage. This balance transforms your life. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to row against everything, you learn to conserve energy and move forward. And this progress isn't just material. It's emotional, spiritual, and mental. It's that peace of knowing you're on the right path, even if you're not sure where it's going. And let's face it, that's what everyone seeks. Peace. Now, I want you to think about what your routine would be like if you lived like this. Imagine not stressing over small things, not wasting time on worries you can't change, not being consumed by things beyond your control. Imagine having the energy to dedicate yourself to what really matters, to the right people, to the moments that matter. It's a much lighter, much clearer life, because you're no longer fighting reality, but walking alongside it. This doesn't mean problems disappear, but it does mean you learn to deal with them without drowning. And that's the great transformation. What you just watched opened your mind to something that completely changes the way you see life. This clarity you received here is a gift that will accompany you in the coming days, helping you live with more lightness and awareness. And now, it's your turn to multiply this impact. When you like and subscribe to the channel, You ensure that this message reaches others who also need to awaken to this truth. Also, I want you to comment on the word transformation down below. This simple gesture shows that you truly understand and are ready to take the next step, and I'll tell you right. Now, what comes next goes even deeper, revealing something that connects everything we've discussed today and takes you to an even greater level of understanding. So choose to be present in the next video that's already appearing on your screen, and get ready because the journey is just beginning.